Market Peak with Seth and Matt. Welcome, everybody. This is Seth and Matt with Market Peak, P-E-E-K. This is Sunday, March 14th. Before we get started, go ahead and like us and subscribe all the way over there. Like us down in this little area. So Sundays, we kind of prepare you with what could, be some possible trades and possible things to look for Monday. We're going to be discussing potential short squeeze opportunities, options trades to consider. Also fuel cells. Fuel cells going to have its earnings on Tuesday. Definitely stock that we've become a fan of more recently. And as always, we're going to make our predictions for sure. How's it going, Matt? All good out there?
What's going on, bro? All good.
Rock on. So we're not financial advisors. None of this is financial advice. Do your own research. We like to say you're D squared. And please leave us a comment with your thoughts. Please share it. We do get a lot of shares, which really, really helps us. We're a new show still. We've been just over a month, so we're actually really happy with the replies we've gotten and and the views and all that. So it's pretty awesome, but definitely couldn't do it without you guys out there. That's for sure. So. All right, so the news story. First, we're going to go ahead and start with swaggy stocks. We feel like it'd be cool to start with this just because it's so hot right now. And it's interesting to watch how things move around. Like GME's got such a commanding lead more recently, 34.5%. AMC actually moved into second. Palantir, you'll be happy to know, moved into third. So...
Excellent.
That's one of our favorites. We actually covered them last week for the stock feature. BlackBerry's moving up. Tesla is still in there. Interestingly enough, it looks like F. That's Ford, right? F. So they're kind of sneaking in here as well. And with that, we're going to be talking about a couple of short squeeze opportunities later, and hopefully we'll be seeing more representation from those in here. But anyway, fuel cell. So fuel cell has been doing really, really well recently. And we talked about it a little bit on our show yesterday. And as you can see, the 5-day, it actually moved about 30%, and it was down quite a bit. I know, it's insane. That's
madness,
and that's with the dip. That's with the dip that everyone had last month.
Just a quick reaction bounce.
It's freaking great.
30%.
And that
seems right.
And that's also before, which we're gonna show up here. So this was on Friday. They announced joining Hydrogen Europe. So I've been trying to pull up Hydrogen Europe's website so I can go off of it, and I haven't been having much success. In fact, here, if I click on it, it's just going to keep cycling and cycling. I can't get in. I would like to show you guys a little bit more, but you can find it, hydrogeneurope.eu. But as you can see right here, leading industry association with 150 plus members, partnering with EU and global stakeholders to develop hydrogen and fuel cell technologies. So it's not like, they're a partnership with a major company and, oh my God, it's going to be huge. I mean, there's already 150 plus members, as you can see, but it's still a big deal. Because if you actually look at this article that I found more recently, well, that's not it. That's actually the recycling. Europe is going all in on hydrogen power. Why isn't the U.S.? And this is from last August 6th. So hydrogen is starting to become really, really prominent in Europe, and it's going to be moving really, really quickly. So the fact that they have so much going on over there, I think is really, really crucial to their growth. Just to give you an idea of what hydrogen fuel cell does, you can see this is their Sure Source 3000. This is actually one of their, power plants, you could say. What's cool about this is kind of what they do. They take the hydrogen from the actual grid or for whatever source, could be tanks even, but their job is to turn that into energy and actually utilize the hydrogen in a safe way. So this is one of the many things that they do. You can see fuelcellenergy.com. You can go to their different offerings that they have. So, but earnings, there it is, still cycling anyway. But so earnings are coming up on Tuesday. And depending on what happens, it could be a really, really positive thing. As you can see, I'll jump over real fast. I actually do have a call on them, 22.50. I got it on Friday, already up 21% on that. So, and you got fuel cell. When did you get it? It was like $14, something like. You got it a little bit earlier on. You ended up selling it for a nice little profit.
It was a while ago.
Sure.
I did catch part of that big rally we had. Although I didn't ride it all the way up.
Sure.
I think we
I remember the
topped
text
out
you
at what,
sent.
like the $25 level.
Yeah. You were like, I should have held on a little bit longer, but still, you made a profit.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, no
But
doubt.
I wanted to play it safe.
I could have held my
and
GameStop, but I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no one can predict,
Sure.
that kind of meteoric rise. I mean, same thing with fuel cell. You had from bottom to top an 1,800% rally. So
That's huge. That's huge in a very short period of time, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
For sure. So with where we are now, we're at 1810. Like I said, up 30% for the week. If I actually go to the 3-month, we're quite down. Well, I mean, we were at 29.50 when we hit the peak back in February 10th. So from here, what do you think? I mean, like I said, I bought it. I have it in my portfolio as well on this one, and I actually bought it in one of my other portfolios. You can see 60 shares of Fuel Cell. I got the call as well. So Monday, things moving forward. Do you feel like it's still a good time to jump in?
I do, and because the options premium on those monthlies is, in my opinion, pretty reasonable right now. We're looking at around 140% a month out for an in-the-money strike price. I think that will rise going into earnings, meaning that you can make money just off premium if you're a contract holder. So that's what's interested me so far in that trade. Outside of that, great long duration play.
Sure.
A lot of interest surrounding it, a big community surrounding it. So I'm definitely watching this one.
And for those of you wondering what he means by premium, so that volatility, for those of you newer, and we're going to be going more in depth with options moving forward. Matt's putting together a nice little program that we're going to release in stages. So definitely look for that if you're looking to get involved in options more. But what he means by premium is that 141%, 140% he's talking about is essentially a multiplier to a degree of how much more you're paying to buy whatever call you want. And what he means is if fuel cell happens to jump, let's say it goes up like 20, 30, 40% in like a day, that volatility is going to jump up to 300, 400%. GameStop at one point, the last rise that just happened, it was one point like 1,200%. So that means that you're going to make a lot more money on your investment just because the volatility or the premium is so high. So I've had stocks go down on calls and I still could have made money because the premium was so high.
And that's the great thing about options is that the underlying can go one way, the premium can go the other way, and you can still make money if you're
But don't forget, if the contract expires worthless, you don't have anything. So that's the one thing. Like stocks, if it goes down and it doesn't, you don't hit any particular number, you still own the stock. So it's still very, very risky. Just be careful out there. Just for your knowledge, folks. All right, so Ethereum is up. This is freaking great. We just talked about Ethereum yesterday. We talked about how the NFT thing is going to start to make Ethereum explode, or at least that was my theory. Let me go on the 1 month here. And literally since we mentioned it, it's been up, 10%. We record our Sunday shows on Saturday, but as of today, it's like up around like 10%, depending on where you're looking and what time. But still not the all-time high, but it's on the rise, and you predict it's going to start going crazy as well, right?
I do. I'm predicting a period of consolidation for Bitcoin, for investors to pivot more towards ETH-based tokens, and for Ethereum to close that BTC to ETH ratio.
Sure.
So think of Ethereum as what silver is to gold. Okay.
Sure.
So gold might be a traditional hedge against inflation. People, invest in it, because they want protection against a possible market, correction. They invest in silver because it's kind of a more value-based opportunity.
And people feel like silver is completely undervalued as well, and they feel like eventually it's going to catch up to gold. So anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and silver, just like Ethereum, has more practical application, right? You don't really use gold to make things anymore. You use silver.
True.
Okay. Ethereum right now, because it's still in development, is a more kind of like functional platform, I'd say. So that's another big opportunity that I think the market has yet to price in, this idea that the Ethereum platform has a lot of room to grow and a lot more just like use cases
Sure.
out there.
Sure.
So
Especially with the room to grow. Like I said, right now it's at like 1900. And I mentioned to you earlier when we were talking, I feel pressure to get some more Ethereum like really, really quickly because, it could very, very easily completely take off. It has its own network. You have your gas prices. So every time Ethereum is being used, almost, some of that Ethereum is being transacted, everything going on with NFTs, which use a lot of computational power. I agree with you. It's got a lot of room to grow, and I feel like it's also going to catch up to Bitcoin pretty quickly.
yeah.
So, and then FOMC. So this was something else you were talking about as well.
All right. So the Federal Open Market Committee meets next week. They're going to come out with their decision on interest rates. The market is pricing in a 0% chance for an interest rate hike. So that's what the market is pretty much pricing in right now. And it looks like they're going to give dovish guidance again on rates, and we'll see what they say about inflation. I'm looking at the 10-year right now, and whether or not rates start backing off further in anticipation for the decision on Wednesday.
Sure.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. They're not going to touch it. Usually when there is a meeting of some sort, people find something negative to bring the market down just a tad or a lot more. But yeah, they're definitely not going to touch the interest rates. That's for sure. So, all right. So we wanted to talk briefly about, and actually let's go into the swaggy. We might as well go back there for this. Why some stocks squeeze, other ones don't, and the number one thing, you'd actually put this quick small little list together. Number one thing is the meme factor, the memeability of it, and how memed out.
Memeability.
Yeah, the memeability and how memed out it is. And I think it's very, very true.
Yeah. And I mean, like you mentioned a few episodes ago when we were discussing what makes a good stock, there's a big community surrounding these meme stocks.
Yeah.
Wall Street Bets, I don't know how many subs it has at this point, millions.
Sure.
But it can pretty much control the direction of a trade, especially among these smaller, more liquid stocks.
9.5 million. It passed about a week ago. Yeah.
So if 1 out of every 10 followers on that subreddit decide to, I don't know, invest $10 into a stock, and the stock is small enough, you can get real movement there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an interesting, never seen before phenomenon.
Rocket. And it just happened with Rocket.
Yeah. RKT. And I think the more institutional, the big institutional players are having trouble kind of grappling with like this new paradigm.
Yeah.
And with retail traders now have more control over these small cap stocks. So we're going to continue to see volatility. We're going to continue to see this push and pull between big money traders and smaller retail traders.
Yep.
And so long as stock is, being paid attention to on Wall Street Bets and StockTwits, it has a pretty good chance of gaining more and more attention and more, investors. So.
Yep. I agree. Just got to be careful, folks, especially on Wall Street Bets, because oftentimes, actually not oftentimes, all the time, whether it's GameStop or whether it's AMC, Ford, I'm sure has them. There's a lot of bots out there that are pushing a specific agenda. In fact, it was UWMC, I think it was I'm pretty sure it was one of the competitors to Rocket, RKT. They were just exploding. It was like tomorrow's the day, and like all of the mentions had shot up. And then one of the moderators for Wall Street Bets basically said, put out, a post said the reason we didn't give UWMC, I'm pretty sure it's UWMC. Should I look this up just to make sure? UWMC. Yeah, there we go. So basically the reason why that they didn't give it its own page is because they looked at a lot of the accounts and found that it was just a major freaking bot storm, which is why, as you can see, it went up just a little bit, maybe like 20%. And then as soon as people realized it was just a bot storm, wasn't going to really happen, actually it ended up tanking a lot lower than where it was, which is oftentimes what you're going to find. So just be careful. I mean, it could be memed out, but it could also be a lot of bots too. Now, the good thing is you can count on Wall Street Bets to really filter that stuff out, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So poor fundamentals, but a good story nonetheless. So yeah, please take it away.
What that refers to is that in spite of a stock's kind of shortcomings as far as fundamentals go, maybe it's not profitable, maybe it has an outdated business model, maybe it has a very advanced yet to be recognized business model. If it has a good story, if people like certain aspects about what that company is doing, it's going to get attention.
Sure.
Especially among younger retail traders who, think, I believe, more about a company's mission rather than sometimes its core fundamentals.
Can you,
again,
can you what's a stock that you have in mind? Because I could say Blue Sphere is probably a good example.
Absolutely. Most of the stocks we cover, in fact, tend to cater more towards the younger retail trader crowd.
Sure.
People more forward-looking, people thinking about what the next, sentiment-driven, what the next trend is. Do I like this company? Do I like its CEO? Do I like its values? Do its values align with my values? That sort of thing. And, retail traders control the direction of a lot of these trades right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, actually
it's got to have a good story.
Pulling up the Blue Sphere chart now, and you can see it's had a couple pops, but it's spent most of its time. Look at this, like 0.00014 cents. So another one, AITX. So we can pull this one up as well. This is another one. And we're not suggesting or saying that they have poor fundamentals or anything like that. We're suggesting that these are companies that are getting a lot of their attention through the sentiment, through the younger people that you're referring to, through the posts and the followings that these stocks pick up. Because a lot of these people, they're really big fans of what's going on. And when we covered AITX, I even mentioned that I like the CEO. He's just really nice and smooth, very personable, just a guy like you feel like you just have great conversation with. Exactly. So it definitely makes a difference. AITX, another opportunity right here. And if I pull up the 3-month on this, you'll see at one point it was up to 27 cents. Now it's sitting at 12. So this is another one that's probably just going to creep along until something big happens and it could explode.
Yeah. And one more interesting thing to note about this idea of fundamentals versus story, sometimes a company can have poor fundamentals, a good story, gain the attention of the larger retail investment community, and raise so much money as a result that the fundamentals eventually get there.
Sure.
They raise so much money that they can use to invest in their business model, grow, and actually make whatever product they're imagining become real. They get successful. And then, lo and behold,
Sundial?
The tail wags the dog.
Do I hear Sundial?
Sundial.
They just did like a $1 billion shelf offering in their stock. Like they just did a $75 million one. And then a month later, like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go for $1 billion. It's just insane.
And that's how you get meme status, right? People start trading on just the hype. People start trading the stock, ironically, with the understanding that it might have poor fundamentals, but we like it anyway. Sure, so why not 100%. Buy it? It'll be funny. And eventually, they start trading it unironically.
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. Eventually,
because it'd be funny.
It becomes so popular, it becomes a good stock, and it becomes a good company. So we're in an interesting time here.
100%. Sundial definitely fits that bill. And the last one, they tend to employ a lot of people. I don't know. AITX, I'm not sure. I don't think they have a ton of employees. I'm sure they have fair amount. And Sundial, I have no idea how many employees they have, but please.
So I threw this one in there, and you can absolutely debate me on this one. I tend to believe that there's some sort of coordination going on between the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, and some of these larger funds investing in some of these lesser known, less fundamentals driven stocks.
Sure.
Particularly retail outlets that employ a lot of people. Retail outlets right now are having trouble. They were having trouble before COVID, before everything got shut down. And there is incentive for a lot of people to try and keep these operations running, to keep people employed.
Sure.
They're not high-paying jobs, but they're jobs nonetheless. And if we can kind of buck this trend whereby brick and mortar is kind of being disrupted, displaced by e-commerce, and we can save jobs and kind of smooth out that transition from the older economy to the new economy, whereby there are less brick and mortar job opportunities.
Yeah, 100%.
I know that's kind of like conspiracy theory, but look at Tangier factory outlets, right?
Yep.
Look at places like Ulta Beauty. Look at all these commercial REITs now being saved by the Federal Reserve. Malls employ a lot of people.
Sure do. 100%. All right. Well, I thought, I like the list. I think it's pretty awesome. Good possible way to make some money. We'll see how it goes. All right. So 3 amazing short squeeze trades. So, we're talking about a lot of stuff that's going on with the meme stocks and everything. But what's interesting about that is if you can actually get one of these stocks to actually meme, you could probably do pretty well. People talking about the short squeeze and everything's being short squeeze, and this is a potential squeeze or even gamma squeeze opportunity. But if you can get that meme status, that's where it actually can really happen. So, and number one, you just mentioned it, Tangier Factory Outlet Centers, SKT. Let me pull it up here. Let's go to the full featured chart. Why not? We're worth it, right, folks? So I'll pull up the 3-month on this one.
Okay.
And I don't think we need the candle. Well, all right, let's do the candles. So, all right. So please take it away.
So 40% short interest. Second, I believe, to GME. A lot of people doubting this one. Obviously, factory outlets got hit hard during the COVID crash. A lot of them were just shut down completely. So interest in that space plummeted. Now people are rotating back into commercial REITs, to malls, to brick and mortar. So I think there's opportunity there for someone willing to take on a little risk. So we had a high of about $40 posted a few years ago, maybe in 2016. And since then, the stock has taken a pretty big hit. What's interesting to note is that Melvin Capital and Citadel are heavily short the stock right now. Those are the two funds that shorted GME and got blown out. So that has my attention inherently. And if you look at in the money calls right now, a month out, the IV is around that 100% mark, which is high compared to an ETF, but low for a stock with this much attention. This stock has a mean factor of 10 in my book. It's heavily discussed in Wall Street Bets. It has seen meteoric rises before. We've had a 40% jump, a 50% jump. And I'd assume, given the stock's performance since then, that we're set up for, a couple of more squeezes. I think it's also up 70% year to date, in spite of Goldman Sachs coming out pretty much saying, stay away from this stock.
It's number 11 on swaggy stocks, 2.25%. So it's still getting some play here, which is good.
Yeah. And I think it'll, cycle up in the ranks once again. So I think now is a good time to kind of take a look at it. Fourth quarter results showed that the company actually retained 90% of its 2019 traffic, which is interesting.
Sure.
So in other words, in 2020, they did not take the massive hit that most investors were anticipating. They also collected 95% of their tenant rent.
Wow.
In 2020.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So and that's also partly a result of the Federal Reserve and the government providing stimulus.
Sure.
So
what's the IV?
Bills were paid.
What was the IV you said?
Around 100%.
Wow, that is pretty low.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in some cases under 90. So I think that's a huge opportunity.
All right.
So yeah.
All right. So next one, SDC, Smile Direct Club. This is interesting. Like, it's just interesting that this would show up at all in our show. The Smile Direct Club, nothing against it. Let me pull out the year on this one. Nothing against it. It's just never thought we was talking about Smiles Direct or Smiles at all. All right, so please take it away. 1184.
This one, 1184. This one had meme status maybe about a year ago. It hasn't been trading for that long, maybe under 2 years. And it saw a pretty big jump and has since then kind of consolidated. 31.8% shares are shorted right now. That's pretty high. So obviously there's that squeeze opportunity omnipresent. As far as its fundamentals concerned, it sells oral care products. It has whitening products in brick and mortar locations, but its core business revolves around telehealth. It's basically an online platform whereby you can order clear align. They have over 1,000 network partners. So they're multi-channel in that sense. They're obviously a trend leader, being the first adopter as far as, offering these products online is concerned. That specific product in particular.
And your notes say they have patent protected, which is huge.
Yeah. So they have a ton of patents out there that's going to prevent competitors from jumping right into the space, or at the very least slow them down.
Sure.
And most importantly, I just think this telemedicine trend is here to stay.
Big time.
So there's that accessibility aspect. And there's a huge community around it.
Yeah.
I think anything a price below $12 is a steal. And we're going to see where this one goes. I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, 100%.
32% short interest.
Look at the 5 year. Yeah, it was at one point up to 2110. Way back. Actually, no, that's not. No, this is. Oh, it's not. It's a newer stock. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a newer stock.
Okay, wow. So yeah, it opened up in the 20s down to 11. So yeah, definitely a lot of room. It's okay. That usually happens. So I'm surprised Roblox didn't, actually, because Kathy Woods bought it. That's probably what kept it afloat, maybe. So all right, Blink Charging Company, BLNK. I'm kind of surprised this would be shorted so much, just because EV charging is so hot right now. You have ChargePoint that just did the whole thing with Switchback and all that. Let me get the year on this one as well. Please take it away.
Yeah, so I know EV is your space. I know you followed a lot, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to discuss this one.
Sure.
BLNK sitting around $40. 37% of its shares are currently being shorted. Again, that's pretty high. They have an EV charging station network. You had maybe a year ago a couple of companies come out with short reports, Mariner Research, and you had later on another research company basically accused the company of lying about the size of its charging network.
Yep.
The company refuted those claims, obviously.
And then the lawsuits came in and blah, blah, blah.
Of course. And that just gained it more attention. So you had a 500% move starting in 2020. It's a pretty big breakout. If you look at the chart, the 5-year chart, it's seeing a lot of price action.
Sure.
I predict that it will continue to see price action. There's a lot of attention on that space right now. As far as options are concerned, in the money call, IV, 130%, 140%, going a month out. That seems reasonable to me. But this is one where you could just hold shares too.
Sure.
Because again, it's definitely a good long duration play. It's a company that's here to stay, and not to jump the gun and make wild predictions, but it also seems like a good, pickup opportunity for like a Tesla.
Yeah.
Or, a larger company to come in and just buy this network out.
Do you feel, it's interesting you say that because I haven't really thought of that. Do you feel like that's kind of where things might be going? Like if Tesla were to do that, then I don't know. It'd be interesting for them to do that, buy out a company.
I don't think Tesla, Yeah, I don't think they want competitors. I think they want as much lateral control of their market
Sure.
as they can afford.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would make sense.
Such as securing a
for
nickel
them.
mine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's starting from the ground up.
Yeah.
I forgot that they did that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, they didn't like buy it, but they like got basically a partnership
Yeah.
with one or whatever. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. So, all right. Well, I think out of all of them, I got to say, I feel like Tanger factory outlets, I feel like based on what you're saying and what I'm seeing, which one is that? There we go. I feel like this one probably has the most potential if you were looking for a short squeeze, if you're looking to do a call just in case it goes crazy, especially looking at the graph. Smile Direct's like, okay, maybe a good long-term play, possibly. It's weird that they would short a Smiles Club. It's like, come on, man. Putting a frown on the Smiles Club. And then Blink seems like one you would invest in, buy shares, hold on to it, hope it squeezes. But if it doesn't, like you said, it's the EV space. And I feel like owning the shares long-term probably wouldn't be that bad of a deal.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Pretty cool list. Definitely like it. So good job there. And all right. So I guess we can jump into our market prep and Monday prep, that is. And by the way, please, if you're still watching, hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. We're worth it. So Monday prep. So you had a potential stock or a potential trade, or I guess options trade that you were looking into for Monday, correct?
Yeah, so I'm interested in the VIX. I can't play the actual cash index, so instead I'm going to, express trade ideas through exchange traded products. My favorite one being the one-to-one VXX. It's a little more stable than UVXY, which is a more heavily leveraged, ETF. So VXX is about to post new all-time low. It's at $14, I think, on the hair right now.
$13.95.
$13.95, excuse me. Okay, so it dropped a little aftermarket. And I'm playing this both ways, going into the FOMC meeting next week, whereby you normally see a little bit of volatility. So I'm looking at that $14 strike price for puts and calls.
Okay.
This is going to be a relatively high IV trade, since you're trading volatility. And you're going to pay a little bit of premium, especially on those calls right now. But again, my plan is to buy a month out and to sell a week apart. So in other words, I believe that volatility is either going to collapse or spike slightly before collapsing next week, give us a little bit of a range to play with. And my goal is to profit off that range.
Okay. So, I mean, our show yesterday basically thought, or we both were thinking there's a good chance that we could finally finish under 20 if Monday does what Mondays do. And we have an uptick. We could finish below 20% on the VIX, which you've been predicting for a couple months now, that once that happens, we could easily see it drop down to 17, and then maybe even drop further. So in this case, you're betting on possibly shorting this and then putting a call on it as well for the eventual rebound, and hoping to utilize the premium, the volatility going up as a result of this to make your money. Is that essentially what you're doing?
In a nutshell,
okay,
yes.
Sure.
In a nutshell.
Okay, cool. All right, well, we like it. So definitely something to look into for Monday. I like it, to be honest with you. Probably going to do another call on Fuel Cell. So I like Fuel Cell. I expect it to go up tomorrow. Tuesday, like the only reason why I wouldn't do a call is because who knows what's going to happen with earnings on Tuesday, if it could be worse, if it could be better. I mean, that's usually going to be the tell-all. So it does make me a little bit nervous. Watt, of course, I expect that to keep going up. Earnings are already done. Everything's good with that. It's been slowly climbing, which is amazing. Actually, let me pull it up here. So I got some calls, a 450 call, a 550 call that I'm kind of holding on to, and I expect it to keep going up. And eventually it's going to have that big pop, which it always does. Every like couple months or so, you're going to see a big pop. Right there's one, there's a little one. Utilize that volatility. So, and Ethereum, I think we can both agree on that one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Ethereum. It spent some time consolidating at that 1450 level, and it looks like it's ready to explode.
yeah, it really does. It really does. And if we actually pull out a little bit, it's about as high as it's gotten. And you had mentioned the possibility that we might be moving into a transition into crypto, which would be great for all of them. So I
If you
got
if you think about it, once institutional investors really start taking this space seriously, and I think they're in the early stages of doing so, what assets are they going to buy? Obviously, Bitcoin, but they're going to want to diversify.
sure,
How else
100%.
are you going to diversify? What's the first thing you're going to
Ethereum,
move into after
100%.
Bitcoin?
Yeah. Then
Right.
Litecoin
Yep.
maybe after that potentially.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
interesting is like I look at BTC at Bitcoin as like the California of the United States. Like California is the first one to legalize marijuana. They're the first ones to I'm pretty sure to pass a tax on tobacco, like this crazy tax on tobacco to use the money for schools and stuff like that. All this stuff they've been doing with emissions and all that. Same thing with Bitcoin. Everyone like people started accepting Bitcoin as payment. So then, okay, well, if we're working for Bitcoin now, Ethereum can starts doing that as well. People start to be able to buy Bitcoin, and literally you can buy it in a freaking vending machine. So as people start to adopt to it more and more, institutions, like you said, Tesla said they're going to start accepting it soon. Obviously, you saw what happened with Bitcoin when they started, releasing these. I don't know, I guess these prohibitions against it, releasing all these barriers so where people can get their hands on it. And so once that starts happening to Ethereum, which probably going to be soon, it's going to start going crazy.
Just wait until the CBOE starts offering Bitcoin options.
Yeah, right.
When that happens, the space is going to explode. It's going to get silly.
Big time.
It's going to get ridiculous.
Big time.
And another thing I'm looking forward to is finding out whether or not Bitcoin is really this inflation hedge, if it's going to actually steal gold's thunder. It looks like it is pulling liquidity away from gold. The gold bugs hate it. The silver bugs hate it. But, come on, man, you got to get with the trend.
Sure, you do. But I'll tell you what, if all hell breaks loose and some crazy stuff happens, you'd definitely rather be holding gold. That's for sure. So things really, really go
Maybe,
crazy.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, but at that point, I'd rather have a gun.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd rather have, water and...
Sure, I'm with you on that.
Maybe a small farm.
So it looks like people transitioning away from oil a little bit. It's what we always, I try to mention something maybe to kind of steer, maybe just be careful of. And I feel like oil, we had talked about, is it time for oil? And I think it is going to start moving up. We're going into the summertime, but there's probably better places to put your money at this particular juncture. All right. So predictions, the VIX, Monday. What do you think?
Oh, man.
Sub 20? We'll dip below
Monday,
it when we finish. That's the question.
Okay, I say the VIX goes down below 20 on Monday. I'll put my foot on it.
Okay, we like
20
it.
On Monday.
We like it. So, and how else do you? Any other predictions for the week, for Monday? Anything like that?
I'm bullish.
Okay.
I'm bullish for the week.
Sure.
Bullish for Monday. Yeah.
I'm bullish for the week, bullish for Monday. The fact that Friday was just it was actually just pretty average Friday. A little bit of up, a little bit of down. I just feel like the momentum is going to carry into Monday. They already said checks are going to start coming out by the end of the month. People are excited, and I think it was like 30. There was some survey I saw. 37% of respondents said they plan on putting some of that money into the stock market. So I
have a question for you.
Yep.
So if you were forced to invest your stimulus check into the market, 100% of it,
Ethereum.
What would you invest in right now?
Ethereum. Yeah.
Ethereum.
Just because I already have stuff in Watt, I already have stuff in Fuel Cell, I already have, shares of shrimp and all that. I feel like the next move for me is to bulk up on Ethereum. Yeah. It's starting to actually, I don't even know if Swaggy stocks even do. I don't think they do crypto on this one.
I've never seen any tokens on there.
No, there's got to be one out there. We'll look for it. So, all right. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. That's our show, folks. So I know it's a bummer. But please leave a comment with your thoughts, any questions you might have.
You just wanted to use that sound effect.
I don't get to use it very often, dude. It's just, stocks have been kicking ass.
The market's
lately.
always up.
Yeah, dude. It's getting a little dusty over there. So check out our other show, Because We Said So. Once again, we're going to be talking about NFTs coming out this Friday. So if you want to learn a little bit more about it, it's a show. There's 4 of us on the show. It's a cool show. You'll see a link down below. Wait, down below. There we go. Thanks for watching. Any last minute thoughts, Matthew?
I'll say, as far as the Because We Said So podcast is concerned, that if you're interested in macro, that's a good show to check out.
Okay.
If you want kind of like a higher level conversation about what's going on, about the events and the news flow controlling the market right now, and just like some other fun commentary about, some quirky things that happen in, our day-to-day lives.
Sure.
Go there.
It's a fun show. I mean, we try to make this show fun, but that show is a lot of fun. And Matt used to be on the show. We would talk about stocks, and we decided, let's just do our own. And as we are on this recording the show, Palantir has jumped into number 2 on the Swaggy stock sentiment.
Oh, it's alive, updating. Of course, it is.
Dude, this thing is great. So,
but you have Palantir right now, right?
Yeah, I bought an option on it. So I did not buy it, but I bought an option on it to expire once again in April. So, and that's what's up. All right, well, I guess that's pretty much it. We will see you guys on Tuesday evening. Boom.